Hello and welcome to Devil's Advocate. Will Nawaz Sharif return to Pakistan on Monday? And if he does, what sort of future does he face? Those are the two issues I should explore today in a two-part interview series with the former Prime Minister of Pakistan, Nawaz Sharif. Mr. Sharif, on Sunday evening, will you be on a plane going back to Pakistan, or will you at the last moment duck the challenge?
Well, we are booked on the flight on the 10th, and we have every intention now to go to Pakistan, especially after the Supreme Court judgment. We want to go back as early as possible.
So on the 10th morning, Monday the 10th, Nawaz Sharif will be standing on Pakistani soil.
Hopefully.
When you say hopefully, does that mean there's
hopefully
a possibility?
Means inshallah.
Is it in God's hands or is it in yours?
First God, and then of course in our hands.
Am I detecting any doubt, or are you sure in your mind you're going?
Do you have doubts? What makes you believe that?
I'll tell you why I say that. General Musharraf has sent emissaries to King Abdullah in Saudi Arabia to ask him to persuade you not to go back. Are you under pressure from the Saudis to reconsider?
I think Musharraf is running here and there. He's trying to also pressurize anybody that he could. And the Saudis are talking to me. I'm grateful to the Saudis for thinking of me in difficult times. And I've told them what is happening in Pakistan and what Musharraf is up to, and how is he destroying the institutions one by one, and how he dealt with the Chief Justice, one of the major institutions of Pakistan.
Quite right. But what did the Saudis say when you told them this?
I've told them, and I've explained this to them. I have my contact with them, regular contact. So I think looking at the situation in Pakistan, I have also to think about Pakistan. Pakistan needs me today.
And so the Saudis are happy for you to go back?
Well, I don't see any problem.
No problem. It's said in Pakistan that if you arrive, you could be put on the first plane and deported to Saudi Arabia. And a Saudi spokesman has said that were you to arrive in Saudi Arabia, in those circumstances, you would find it's a very different country. Your welcome would be different. Does that worry you?
I don't know what is the source of this news. I haven't read that.
SPA news agency came out 2 days ago.
It is without any source.
So you're not deterred, you're not worried, you're not concerned?
Musharraf is threatening me with dire consequences. Sometimes he says that he'll take me to jail from Islamabad airport. Sometimes the news comes that the cell in the Atak fort is being prepared for me. So all these stories are coming out in the press. I watch them on the television, but I'm not deterred.
So what you're saying to me is, even at the risk of being deported to Saudi Arabia on arrival in Islamabad, even at the risk of being sent to Atak fort and jail, you are going back and you will be in Pakistan on Monday morning?
Yeah. I am booked by the flight, which takes off on the 9th.
Let me put it like this. You may go to jail, you may get deported. If you don't, how confident are you that you will be permitted to contest elections? Because the Attorney General has gone on record to say that as a consequence of your conviction in what's called the plane hijack case, you've been disqualified under Article 62. Does that worry you? That you may go back and still not be able to function as a politician?
The Attorney General is in the habit of saying all sorts of contradictory things. He says one thing today, he contradicts them the other day. So I have no faith in his statements. I have no faith in the statements of the government spokesman. They're all the time saying the same things again and again. So I am going there to restore democracy in Pakistan. Dictatorship has inflicted so much damage to the country. It's beyond any imagination. I would say that my primary task is to restore the law of the land, to restore the constitution as it stood on
I want very much to talk to you about the sort of Pakistan you want to create. But one last question before I switch to all of that.
Yes.
I hear in you determination. I see in you firm resolve. But you still have 48 hours between now and Sunday. In those 48 hours, the pressure on you to change your mind, whether it's pressure from the Saudis, whether it's pressure from your family because you may end up going to jail, will grow. Will Nawaz Sharif, under pressure, change his mind?
The family is highly supportive of my decision. My friends, my party, the All Parties Democratic Movement is highly supportive of my decisions, and they all support that I should come there on the 10th.
If today, tomorrow, day after, perhaps even as late as Sunday morning, King Abdullah rings you personally and says, Mr. Sharif, don't do it, will you say to him, Your Majesty, this is something I have to do, I am going back? Or will you say to him, all right, as a favor, I agree? Which will you say?
You're asking very strange questions. Well, I have told you, I've explained it to everybody. I've explained it to my Saudi hosts, and I will explain it to him also if it comes to a telephone call.
So Monday morning, you will be in Pakistan?
Inshallah.
In that case, let me put it like this. You're going back to Pakistan after almost 7 years. Your party has split in your absence. It's divided. If elections were to be held within weeks, how confident are you that you can actually win those elections?
The party is not divided. The party is intact.
A large section moved across to the PMLQ and are now with General Musharraf.
There are a few individuals, not the party. The rank and file of the party is intact. The vote bank of the party is intact. The support in the masses is intact by the grace of God. So therefore, the party is a very vibrant party. According to the 3 latest polls conducted by national and international agencies, our party is at the top, is ranking at the top. And the second party is far low as compared to our party. So therefore, our party is also, you see, the track record of the party is that we have won 3 consecutive elections in the country.
But can you win the one that lies ahead? 7 years you've been out of the country.
Yeah.
Some of your top leaders have switched to Musharraf's side. The government itself will be working against you. Can you, in those circumstances?
Many of them who switched over to Musharraf, many of them are very keen to come back into our party.
They've been in touch with you?
They've been not directly in touch with me, but in touch with my very responsible people. We don't want them back. They are liabilities more than any asset to the party. We do not want them at any cost. Yes, we might accept some of them back who are willing to stay away from the elections of the president, who are not willing to vote for him in the next election in case he seeks re-election from the current assembly. So we might consider them.
In the elections that happen, you're confident that your party will be united, you're confident your party can win. But you have a big opponent in Benazir Bhutto. The two of you represent civilian democracy in Pakistan. Will you unite and fight together to defeat dictatorship, or will the PPP and the Pakistan Muslim League fight each other and split the opposition vote?
Well, you see, it's a very good question, and I would have really welcomed that. We buried our past. We made a new beginning. I and Benazir Bhutto sat down. We signed a charter of democracy, which very clearly says that there can be no parleys, no negotiations, and no deals with dictator. We've got to struggle for undiluted democracy in Pakistan. We will struggle for the restoration of 1973 constitution.
Are you saying she let you down? She's backed out? She's betrayed this charter of democracy?
She took the other course. She joined hands with Musharraf. They have agreed on a deal. They've cut a deal. And this document very clearly says that there can be no give and take with dictators. and the give and take is now taking place, which is very unfortunate.
So there's no question, therefore, of an alliance between your party and Benazir because she's the one who's broken the relationship?
Yeah, not at this stage. We both put our signatures on this document. It's a very good document. And I couldn't have imagined any violation of this document. I stand by the document even today. But she chose to go the other way.
Can I ask you, do you feel let down?
And let me, well, in a way, yes.
Do you feel betrayed?
No, I wouldn't say betrayed, let down. I'm dismayed, I'm disappointed. And I think any democratic party who believes in democracy, any person who believes in democracy, must never think of going with a dictator or strengthening his hands, because you see, at this time when the dictator is on his way out, let me say that Musharraf's government is a sinking ship today. So it amounts to, you see, lending a hand of support or protecting or providing support to the sinking ship.
You're fighting a dictator, she's supporting the dictator.
Politically speaking, he is now breathing his last. And at this juncture, if any one of us tries to support Musharraf, I think it will be very wrong on our part.
So therefore what you're saying is that for the foreseeable election that's coming, there is no question of any alliance with Benazir. She's gone her way, you're going yours.
Let us see what happens in the future. Let us first send the dictator home. Let us see if we can really bring democracy in Pakistan. There are many other things that we can cooperate upon. There are many other things that we can jointly do in Pakistan.
But that's for the future, not for now.
That's for the future, not for now.
Mr. Sharif, let's take a break. I want to come back and talk to you about the sort of democracy you want to build in Pakistan. Stick with us. We'll be back in part 2 of this interview. Welcome back to Devil's Advocate and an interview with the former Prime Minister of Pakistan, Nawaz Sharif. Mr. Sharif, let's talk about the sort of democracy you want to restore in Pakistan. In the political setup as you envisage it, is there room for General Musharraf if he takes off his uniform as president?
We don't accept him, neither in uniform nor otherwise. He's not acceptable, and I think the civil society, the political forces of the country, the lawyers community have demonstrated that.
The American government believes that Musharraf is critical to the war on terror, and many Western governments share that viewpoint. How will you handle the enormous pressure you will face from the West to find a role for Musharraf?
Well, I think Pakistan has to make its own decisions independently, without any foreign pressure. This is what I believe in. Musharraf needs the threat of terror for his own survival. And I think it is about time for the foreign forces also to review their policy to support Musharraf. They cannot equate Pakistan with Musharraf. And Pakistan is Pakistan, Musharraf is Musharraf. They have to be very clear about the fact that they want to support democracy or they want to support dictatorship.
In a sense,
they can't be a patchwork of democracy and dictatorship.
You're sending a message to George Bush as well, aren't you? You're saying to him, you mustn't support Musharraf at the cost of good relations with Pakistan and Pakistan's democracy.
It is alienating the 160 million of Pakistan, the present Bush policy. And the Pakistanis feel dismayed, disappointed on the policies being pursued by Mr. Bush to support one man, one individual against the wishes of the 160 million people.
Even if there's
this is giving, and unfortunately, this is giving rise to anti-American feelings in Pakistan, which is not good for the relations of both countries.
And if push comes to shove, you'll explain it in this way to George Bush?
Why not?
Even if there's no room in the setup as you envisage it for Musharraf, do you think you need to find an institutional role for the Pakistan army? A role perhaps in the National Security Council?
To answer your earlier question, President Clinton, when he came to Pakistan on a state visit, by then Mr. Musharraf had staged a coup d'etat against my government. He publicly refused to be photographed shaking hands with Musharraf. That is the message he gave to the world.
And that's what you're going to say to George Bush. Clinton's way of treating Musharraf is the way that George Bush should adopt.
Exactly.
All right, even if there's no room for Musharraf in your system, what about room for the wider Pakistan Army? Do you think there is a need, with experience in mind, to institutionalize the role, perhaps in the National Security Council?
Army has no role in politics. According to our constitution, they have their own role, and that is their own domain. They must not step out of their domain and meddle into politics. At the time of taking commission in the army, every officer has to take an oath that he will not involve in politics, he will not indulge into politics, he will abide by the constitution, uphold the constitution of Pakistan, obey the orders of the government of the day, which has been defied by Mr. Musharraf.
And you will enforce this if you become Prime Minister?
Yes, yes, yes.
You will enforce total civilian control over the army?
Absolutely, and that is how the country can survive.
Including the army budget?
The budget will then be taken now to the parliament, debated, discussed, and approved.
Many army generals may not like that.
Doesn't matter. What happens in India? I think the Parliament in India decides and approves the budget of the army.
What about the
not the army itself?
What about the Fauji Foundation? What about all the other business activities, direct or indirect, that the Pakistan Army is involved in? Aisha Siddiq at great length has written about the separate structure of the economy run by the army.
All these things will need to be looked into. And then, of course, the decision will be made after consulting the parliament, after consulting the political parties of the country, because we're all together. I think if we are to eliminate the menace of military dictatorship for all times to come in Pakistan, we will then have to take some major decisions.
But in this major decision you could be taking on the army, do you think you're stepping one step too far, threatening the very generals whose support and loyalty you need?
No, no, no. I think it's going according to the law of the country. It is according to the constitution of the country. I'm not doing anything which other countries have not done, or other democratic countries have not done. What happens in Britain here, where I'm sitting here today, I think we'll follow their example.
And you think that it'll work in Pakistan? You don't think you'll invite a backlash?
It should. If we are to have a long-lasting democratic system in Pakistan, we need to follow the example of other democratic countries. And our army or our politics or our country is no exception.
Mr. Sharif, let's leave this particular interview there. Tomorrow I want to talk to you about the relationship you would have with the Indian government and the manner in which you would approach Kashmir were you to become the Prime Minister of Pakistan. That's tomorrow night on CNBC TV 18 at 10:30 p.m. But for tonight, goodbye, good night.